नमः समयसाराय स्वानुभूत्या चकासते चित्स्वभावाय भावाय सर्वभावान्तरच्छिदे। I bow to the purest soul, absolutely free from the karmic matter, whose attribute is consciousness, that can only be known and revealed by the self to the self. That is all-knowing, which means it knows all the living and non-living substances of the universe at once, in their totality. I bow to the Absolute Soul, to the God Soul. Dear viewers, by now we have studied the main teachings of the 2-century-old text Samay-Sar by Indian scholar Acharya Kundakund. It is a very complex and philosophical text that describes the nature of the soul in the absolute sense. Hence, it takes us on a self-exploratory journey beyond physicality and the varied degrees of our innermost emotions of fear, pain, delusion, and the rest. If we are able to understand what the teacher is indicating, we start accessing that which had always been there but has been inaccessible till now. The Soul King, to whom this journey actually belongs. Once we realize the self, the journey of our spiritual evolution begins. We start feeling an immeasurable ocean that is calm, stays in a state of perpetual bliss, is full of wisdom, and is able to do and achieve things beyond our understanding. Initially, this feeling of bliss comes rarely, then occasionally, for shorter periods. However, with years of acquaintance with the self, the periods of bliss keep increasing, and whenever they come, they start to stay, sometimes for a few hours and at the other for a few days. As we continue to live with this wisdom, we begin dealing with the complexities of life with more patience and an enhanced worldview, as if we are floating above a specific scenario and can observe it from the perspective of a third person who is simply observing the situation and is not affected by it. Acharya Kundakunda compares this state of wisdom with the doctor's profession and says further, a doctor who is an expert in anti-poison treatment, if consumes poison, will not die, as he knows how to neutralize the impact of poison. Similarly, a wise person with the right knowledge is equipped with the wisdom to neutralize the impact of the karmic material, be it of pain or pleasure. The knowing self with a neutral attitude experiences the effects but remains unbound. Let's imagine a scenario where someone has shouted at one for no valid reason, and one's relationship with him is such that it is inappropriate to shout back. One stays disturbed for a few hours, cursing him in one's mind, but eventually one manages to be calm again. Notice that until one is cursing and keeps disturbed, one is creating causes and in turn storing their effects in the form of karmic material. However, as soon as one becomes calm, he has neutralized the impact of the poison of karma. The Guru further states, just as a person who drinks wine as medicine without any special longing for it does not get intoxicated, so also the enlightened self, while enjoying external objects without any longing for them, does not get bound. Samay-Sar equips us to practice Pierre Teilhard de Chardin's quote, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, we are spiritual beings having a human experience." With the help of these teachings, we may choose to pass through this world smoothly without being affected by its happenings. The teacher keeps giving examples from our routine lives to make us understand the gist of what he is saying. He next gives the example of the eyes to describe how the soul only knows and does not do anything. He says, like the eyes, knowledge is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. The soul is the knower of the bondage of karma, the rise of karma, the shedding of karma, and liberation from karma. We all know that our eyes see every happening in our lives and each karma we perform, but they do not do anything, they simply see. That is why in Indian wisdom, a seeker is advised to be a drishta, which means a spectator. The teacher says the attribute of the soul is knowledge, and to know eternally is its function. Hence, the soul is a knower par excellence. It can be very well comprehended that knowledge and the knower are inseparable. In Indian wisdom tradition, a seeker is advised to be a Gyata and Drishta. Both of these words mean the knower and the spectator, respectively. We all have heard of these two words no matter which religious philosophy we follow. In this conclusive chapter, we have now studied how the soul is only the knower and the spectator, hence it does not do anything directly, instead it is the instrumental cause behind every happening. Let us now move towards the key takeaways from this chapter. 1. The teachings of soul science prepare one to embark on the journey to explore the infinity within. With this wisdom, we learn to lead our lives like a doctor who can nullify the poison's effect. 2. Once we realize how vast we are and only an incredibly tiny fragment is passing through this world in the form of this life, we start living in a state of bliss. 3. We begin to practice being a knower and a spectator. 4th, this way we prepare a foundation for a spiritually evolved world. It is now time for the last meditation of the whole text. Let us prepare for the same by closing our eyes and calming our minds. Taking a few deep breaths. With each breath, releasing the tension in our muscles and pondering the unbound, immeasurable ocean of the self is right here, right now. By gaining wisdom from this Indian text, we are now equipped to live our lives spiritually. We will fulfill all our duties. We will perform all required actions, such as work and business, and we will bear the responsibilities of all our relationships efficiently. We will do all that is needed to live a prosperous life. But now, we will do it with innate spiritual wisdom. We know the fact that it is our higher selves that are to be looked upon in the time of guidance. We choose to lay the foundation of a spiritually evolved planet by spreading this wisdom through discussions and further analyzations. You may now open your eyes.